Okay, guys. Thank you once again for coming again to another session of API class. So today, before we go on, let me just so as you can see what I'm doing, I'm simply just googling stuff because that's what you would also need to do. Because I did mention that the reason for this is basically once you get into the workplace and you encounter a problem, your colleagues would ask you, okay, what have you done? If you have a problem and you want them to fix it for you, the first question they'll ask you is, what have you done? They don't want to come there and replicate everything that you've done because it'd be a waste of time. So they just, okay, so what have you done? You tell them, and they'll, okay, so you try this again. What you tried, okay, let me see what else I can try. Okay, but if they come there and say, okay, so what have you done? And you tell them nothing, they walk away because, come on, at least try something, you know. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong or not, at least try something. Okay, so we looked at what's it called, the HTTP status codes. Okay, so there were quite a few in there, but like I said, as testers, really there's only a few that you would have to deal with. Now we also looked at let me see if I can actually find this. Spec. Go to network tab and let me see status code. Let me see if I can actually get more information on this one. Okay, so let me pull this up here. Okay, good. So you can see here, just digging into this resource, okay? You see the status code is 200. The PNG tells you that it's a an image of some type. Now, image types they come in JPEG, PNG, GIF, TMP, all sorts. So that's it tells us the size, the time, whatever. But if you click on that resource, you can actually see further information on it. That's the URL where this image is hosted on. It's hosted on a server, and that's the address to the server. Remember when I was showing you the website I was building, where I have a picture, it was stored somewhere, and that's just a reference to say this is how you get that picture. Also, status code 200, remote address, and you can see something here. Request method is a get. Now, when you're interacting with software, okay, there is all these request methods that happens. Okay, so when you send, when you refresh a page or you navigate to a page, the most request you will get is what is called a get request. Remember, you are the client, you're talking to the server, and you're saying, get me that stuff. That's really what you're doing. So the device you're using to communicate with that server is the client. The server obviously is the server. So you're saying, get me everything I need to display this page properly. So that is what we call a get request. And there are tons of requests. Let's go back here. Where did I get to? API. There we go. Request methods. So HTTP, excuse me. So HTTP defines methods, sometimes refers to as verbs. They are all action words of some form. Okay, they're all action words of some form. Okay, even though they're not referred to as verb, but all these methods that we're going to look at, request methods, when they ask you about interviews, sometimes somebody may say, okay, can you talk me through the API verbs? Okay, so excuse me. When we are dealing with APIs, we just call them verbs. So you can just basically just say, oh, when it comes to API, start telling them, oh, these are, API verbs. Um, get, so you can see them. We have get. It's an action word of some type. Head, not really an action, but post. You're posting something. Put, you're putting something. Delete, you're deleting something. Trace, you're tracing something. Options, it's, connect and patch. So these are there are quite a few. They're much more than these. Okay, but as testers, to be honest, the one that you're going to be interacting with the most is the get and the post. So let's look at the get method. That's the most popular one you're going to be interacting with. The get method requests a representation of the specified resource. All this request using get should only retrieve data and should have no other effect. So when the developers are building the application, when somebody is going to say maybe navigate to yahoo.com, and yahoo.com will simply just return information back to them, they would actually code it to use a get request. Okay, that's all it does. It will just go there, get result, and say here you are. Okay, so you'll see it in action once we go in there. We have also what's called the head. Okay, it also asks, it's the response is identical to that of a get request, but without the response body. So when we're looking at the get request, you saw it came up with quite a few information. You have the status code 200, quite a lot of information in there. There's also something called the response body. When it's returning information back to you, it comes with what is called a response body. There's a lot of information in there that helps the developer and also the development team to know that that request has executed perfectly. But if you're using the head, it doesn't come with a response body. Okay. You also have what is called a post. The post method requests that the server accepts the entity enclosed in the request as a new subordinate of the web resource identified by the URL. Okay. It's simply, when we're talking about post, it's like you're trying to log into something. Let's say you're trying to log into an email. Okay. You're sending something to the server. You're not making a request. You're saying, take this stuff here. So that's what you do, a post request. It's when you're sending something and say, do something with this information I'm giving you. Okay. It's a post request. If you are logging into your mobile phone, when your mobile phone, if you have a, what's it called, key lock on it, what would happen is once you enter the right key lock or the wrong key lock, it will send off a post request to the authenticator on your mobile phone, which will verify that yes, the code you entered is correct, okay, or is incorrect. It will then send back the relevant status code to the screen. So if you enter the correct pin, that's a post. You sent a post request to the authenticator on your phone. Once it accepts it and it says, okay, yes, this code is correct, it will send back maybe a 201. And all that will do is to simply just unlock your phone. Okay. It will simply just unlock your phone. Okay. What about if you enter the wrong PIN number? If you enter the wrong PIN number, what will happen is it will also, you're sending a post request. It would then say, no, this is wrong. It will send back maybe a, I don't know, 400 or 403 or 402 or 401, depending. Okay. And then something will pop up on your screen saying, wrong PIN enter, please try again. Because now the your mobile phone has identified that 402 or 401 or 400 is coming back. I need to display the right message. It's not going to display 401 or 402 to you. It just recognizes that, oh, when I get this, this is what I need to do. And then you have the put method. Okay, it has all the stuff, but we're going to look at them in much detail. Okay, so these are all the stuff in here. So what I'll do is I'll copy this and I'll paste it for you guys, so you can just have a look at it. We'll have that one there, and the status code one, I will also copy that one for you guys. Where is it now? Status codes. Yeah, there it is. So copy. That's something to review. Okay, so that's what we have in there. Now, let us talk about Postman. Okay, because we're going to be looking, we're going to run the get, at least we should be able to run the get request today. So I'm going to launch Postman. That's my Postman app. Now, when obviously, as you can see, I've been running quite, a few requests on Postman. So if you look here, let me just close all this one. No, don't save. Don't save. Don't save. I should have done this before class, but let me just save. So when you launch Postman, obviously you're not going to have any collections. Okay, we'll look at what this collections means in due time. Let me expand that. So if you look here, let's just look at Postman. So you've got Postman here. It changes from time because obviously the owners of Postman, they keep updating it. They want to make it as user friendly as possible. So let me put this one to no environment. So this is what your Postman would look like, minus all the collections or history or APIs. Nothing will be there. So this is the Postman that we would actually be using to test APIs in the workplace. Now, the first thing you have to understand is there are some things that we need to learn about. Before you can do any API testing, you need something which is called an endpoint. Okay? What is an endpoint? It is simply the location of a resource. That's an endpoint. A good example of an endpoint is what we just looked at right now. This. Let me copy this and show you. This list of HTTP status code, this is the location where it's stored. That's the endpoint. Okay? You have secure endpoints, you have non-secure endpoints. You have HTTP. Okay? HTTPS stands for, remember, we said HTTP is the protocol that governs communication on the web. It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. If it has an S, it means that it is secure. If it doesn't have an S, it means it is unsecure. So if you're doing any shopping online, it's always a good idea to check. Let me go back to. So as you can see here, previously you would actually type www.yahoo.com, all that kind of stuff in there. But now with the way web was going to handle this thing, it won't actually display the www dot. If you want to see it, you can just simply just click in there, and then the www, sorry, the HTTPS part of it would actually be displayed. Now, sometimes this is an interview question. Remember, we're talking about security yesterday when we are looking at this, looking at the dev tools. Remember, when you do inspect, this is what we refer to as the dev tools, elements, console, sources, all the stuff in here. It's referred to as dev tools. So they may ask you, okay, you know, how do you, how else do you test? So you can simply use the dev tools. Okay, they know you know what you're talking about. Can you give us a few of the tabs in there? Always mention that, look, as a keyword, the one I use the most is just the network and the security one. Okay, so always make sure you can see here that it's telling that this page is actually secure. Good. Now they will ask you, how would you know that I want to shop on, let me see, tesco.co.uk? At a glance, how can I tell this Tesco is secure? How would I know it's safe for me to use? Very simple. Just click here. You can see the S. It tells you that this uses secure protocol communications. What other way can you tell that this page is secure? There's a padlock there. You can see the padlock? So those are the two ways you can tell that a site is secure. Not like this one, clean.co.uk. I mean, it's already telling you not secure. If you click there, you can see there's no HTTPS in there. Let's inspect. Let's go to security, and that's another way to tell that this page is not secure. So if they ask you in the interview that, can you tell me two ways of confirming that a page is not secure? You tell them three ways. Okay, tell them three ways. You're telling them that, look, this is kindergarten stuff. Okay, tell them that there are actually three ways. Okay, you check if there's a padlock. If it's not, check the protocol. If it's not there, then just go to the what's it called, dev tools, click on security tab, and then check, is it secure or not? Tell you that it's not secure. So there are three ways. So like I said, you want to overwhelm them with your technical brilliance. Okay, that's one way of doing it. So like I said, this is an endpoint. Okay, sometimes, you know, local host. Okay, maybe 8080 student slash list. This is also an endpoint. This is the endpoint for the app that we are going to be using to test. Okay, so things like yahoo.com, bbc.co.uk, next.co.uk, these are what we refer to as endpoints. Okay, it simply states that this is a location of a resource. If we go to um, three here, and just prove to you that it is so. So let's look for a picture. Let me just hit refresh. I'm just looking for a picture. Let me stop. Sorry, not clear. Come on, let me just hit refresh. Then I'll stop recording. I've got quite a few picture types in there. So this is a JPEG. I'll click on here. That's the request URL. Okay, let me copy that and paste this here. We'll see what this picture is. Now it's trying to. Now I don't want to save it. Okay, it's some kind of picture. Let me just go to bbc.com. Inspect. Go to network, and I just hit refresh. Stop. Let me see if we've got some pictures. Yeah, we've got some pictures. I'll get this one here. Let me copy that. Go paste it there, and there you go. So you can see that this one. Let's just copy it so we can compare it to what I was telling you about. And there you go. You can see status code HTTPS. It just tells that this picture, that's where it's been stored. That's the location of that picture on a web server somewhere on the World Wide Web. So that's just what we mean by endpoints. Okay. So going back to Postman. So we have Postman, we have, you know, new import runner. Don't worry about all those ones. Let's talk about the ones that are the most important. So here, if I click here, you can see it defaults and it gives you a list, or it gives you like a tab. It acts like a web browser, to be honest. It almost acts like a web browser. So here you can see it's an untitled request. You can click more, you can keep opening more, but the default request type you would actually get is the get, because that's the most popular one that you will be using anyway. Okay, so let's close off a few and leave just one. To change them, you have, look at all the ones here: post, put, patch, delete, copy. Here we're going to be looking at a few of them, not all, because you won't, to be honest, you won't use all the other ones. So we'll focus on the ones that we look at. And again, depending on the application that you are testing, the developers might not even do anything to do with purge or lock or unlock. They might not even do anything, code anything to do with it, because it's irrelevant to the application or the behavior of the application. But it's there just in case. Okay, so it's always the get. So if you want to switch it to post, just click it, it changes to post. If you want to change it to another one, click to patch, and so on and so forth. So let's go back to get. Okay, it says enter the request URL. Okay, similar to what we were looking at here. Okay, let's copy this. This is where you put your endpoint in there. I can put this one in here. Let's see what will happen if I click send. And this is, you can see, this is the code. This is the, let me preview it as in, okay, there you go. That's what it looks like. Okay, it's bringing back the HTML code, and that's what it just looks like. Okay, so we'll leave it as pretty. There are different ways of viewing it. You can view it in pretty, raw, preview, just leave it as pretty. You can see that's the status code 200. It's telling you that it's working. The time it took to bring back the whole page, the size, it gives you quite a lot of responses. Okay. And remember, we're talking about the header body. That's the header body that it would actually, sorry, not this one. Parameters. What is it? Header. Yeah. So this is the header body to bring back all this information for you. We saw a bit of it in the status codes, sorry, in the dev tools. Okay, we saw a few of it in the dev tools. Where is it now? Let me close. Okay, that, so there it is. So you can see we saw this is it, request URL, response headers, all this kind of stuff in here. Okay, and that's what we basically have. Just have a snapshot here as well. Okay, so there it is. That's the response headers. So this is what we use Postman for. Okay, so that's just a, let me get rid of that. Don't need that. Just clear everything. Okay, so there is this one there. What else do we then do? Okay, now every request that you send, Postman retains a history for it. Look at today. The last one I did was in September, and now look at today. It's retained this request. So just in case tomorrow you come and you can't remember the end point you entered, you can just go, okay, I did this thing yesterday. There it is. Click on it straight away. It will fire off for you. So it retains a history. That's what the history does. But remember, you have to switch on this thing to say save responses. If you don't save the response and you run it, it won't save it. So you have to click save responses so that it will remember to save them. Okay, so remember, you don't want to be typing this thing all over every single time you come into work. Okay, so there should be a way to kind of manage it. So that's what that actually does. So let's go to collections. There is a way that we organize our requests. When you are working, you are going to be typing most likely the same request over and over and over again. Somebody's going to join the team or you are going to leave. It's always good to either do a handover or get a handover when you join an organization and you're going to be doing API tests. The two things that you want to ask when you join an organization and you want to be doing API tests is this. Okay, you just say, where is my collection? Sorry, collection and environment. Those are the two things you want to know. Where is my collection and my environment? And also, uh, can I get a walkthrough of the um, of the sorry API setup? Okay. So even if they give you the collections and the environments, you still need somebody to walk you through. Okay. Just so that you can, if you see something is wrong, then you know that, okay, this is an error. If it's working fine, you know definitely it's working fine. So you're not guessing, even though they've given you your collections and your environment. Okay. Cool. What next? So these are our collections. We can simply create a collection, disregard all this stuff that you're seeing here. To create your own collection, let's I'm going to create one. It'll ask you, provide a name. We're going to be dealing with something called the student app. So here, I'll just give it, I'll say student app. Description, you can put some text in here that this um, col collection is a list of all the methods used to test the student app. Yeah, that's it. Okay, you can put authorization. So obviously, if you're working in a secure environment, there'll be authorization. Okay, but when it's beyond the scope of this um, class, but definitely, the whoever the developers will provide you with all that information here. Prerequisites, scale, test, all this kind of stuff. Don't worry. The only two things you really need is just the description and the name, and then click create. It will create your collection for you. There it is. Okay. I don't with this one. I don't think you can actually move it up or down. Let me see. Uh, duplicate. Nah, you can't move it. I was thinking that you can actually maybe move it up or down. Oh, you can star it. Oh, okay. So once you star it, it jumps to the top. If you unstar it, it will get into place in terms of uh, what's it called? Alphabetical naming structure. So you can see 2020 numbers first, then B, then J, then S, then T. But if you simply just start it, it jumps to the top. So It's the student app we're going to be. So you can see how to create a collection. Okay. What else can we then do? Okay. Let's see. Let me just close this. Okay. So we have this on title request. So we know that we enter our endpoint here. That's fine. Okay. So before we then continue, there's also something called the environment. But before we continue, let's quickly look at the app that we are going to be using for this section. So now all I'm going to ask is, Tony, have I set up your student app and everything?
My student hub.
Yeah, your PowerShell and everything. Have I done all that?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you have.
Okay, cool. Can you share your screen, please? Because the way it's set up on my machine is different. Okay, because I'm using something called Docker,
I
which
I will have to log into my
oh no, no, okay, that's fine.
because yeah.
Nikki, can we use your machine?
Okay.
Yeah, please share your screen.
It's okay.
So, because I have to show you how to navigate to the application, because I'm using a different setup on mine. Let me just,
Have you got it now?
yeah, I can see your screen now. I'm going to request a remote control.
Okay.
Okay, so we're
Yeah.
looking at, so let me just minimize this. Okay, cool. So the first thing you need to do is to launch PowerShell. Now, the way it works is that we don't have a server out there on the web that you guys will interact with. So that's the reason why we've installed this application on your machine, okay? And it will act as a local server. Okay, so it's going to act as a local server on your machine, and then you will connect to it. So let me show you where it is. I think for every one of you, I'll set it up in the same place. Let's see, is it documents? Yeah, API. Okay, so it's so just watch. So here it is, okay, and that's the app, the student app. Now to run this, I have to navigate to where this app is. Look at the address of the app. It's in your C drive, users, HP documents, or API. There's a easier way of getting to it. As long as we are in the C drive, we can simply just jump to documents and then go to API. So let's go to PowerShell. Okay. Now, like I told you that a lot of applications, if you're working in a development environment, it won't be double click, it won't work. So we need to learn how to launch this application. So CD, CD, I'll provide you with notes. CD in what's it called terminal navigation simply means change directory. So here, where you are double clicking stuff, Microsoft simply took away all the heavy lifting. When computers started off, this was how you went from one place to another. There was no icons to click. It was all Unix. So you had to write commands. Well, Microsoft came on the scene and said, look, this is too much for non-technical people. Let me just provide something that they can double click. It was actually a company that came up with the thing. Microsoft bought them out. So you just simply double click on the stuff and it will open. But in the terminal window, what we want to do now is, first of all, just do what's it called LS. LS stands for list. If you hit enter, it will show you everything in the directory in which you are. When you open up PowerShell, we'll look at this in much more detail when we do the Linux class. When you open up PowerShell, it will default to your home page. Okay, your home page. So here it will be in, I think it's either HP or users, one of the two. So from here, you can see now documents. This is the documents I actually want to go to. So to navigate to documents, I'll do CD, then I'll do documents. Okay, let me show you. There are two ways of doing this. So I'll say DOCUMENT. The spelling must be correct, please. If you misspell, you won't get to where you want to go. So if I hit enter, you can see now that the prompt has added documents. Initially it was HP. Okay, so let's look at it again. You can see it is C. users HP documents. C users HP documents. You can see I'm matching it. Now I still need to go into the API folder. So I'll do it again, CD, and I'll type API. I'll hit enter, and you can see now I'm in the API folder. So it is matching. If I want to see what is in this API folder in the terminal, I'll simply just hit ls and hit enter. ls simply stands for show me everything in this folder. Okay, it will show you everything that is presently in that folder. You can see now, we can see the student app, and we can see the student app here. That's all it's doing. Now, like I said, you have to keep typing the names. If you misspell it, you won't actually get to where you're going. But there's an easier way of doing this. Okay, there's an easier way of doing this. If I do ls again, let me just do clear. Clear simply means that remove all this stuff here and give me a clean slate. So I want to navigate to, so remember, look at where we are. I'm in the C users HP. C users HP. I want to navigate to documents. And I know that sometimes, I can't, you might actually find when you're working in development environments, the names can be quite long. Now you haven't got time to be typing 12 characters and everything. What you need to do is to use what is called auto completion. So do CD and just type the first 3 letters of where you want to go to, DOC, and hit the tab key. Instantly, it will auto complete for you. Hit enter. Then I'll do again, CDA. Okay, because I know that that's the only folder that starts with A. I'll hit enter. If I do ls now, there you go. So the when you see developers typing and it seems like they're typing 500 words per minute, no, they're using auto completion. Okay, they're simply just typing and then, type DOC and I'll move on. Okay, so that's a better way. It also helps you to avoid spelling mistakes. Let me show you now. If I do CD docu and I put an S here, and I'm obviously pressing the tab key, but nothing is happening. In Linux, you would actually hear a beep. When you do the tab and you hear a beep, it's telling you that you have made a mistake. In Windows, I don't think you can hear any beep. I don't know. Nikki can confirm for us if there's a beep coming from her end.
No, no beep.
There's no beep.
Yes,
So
please.
in Linux, a beep will come telling you that what you've typed in there is a spelling mistake. So just go back there. If I hit the tab now, boom, it automatically auto-generates that for us. I can simply because I know that the next folder is API, I don't have to be doing ls every single time because I'm very familiar with the folder. I set it up. I know that in documents, there's a folder called API. I can go into that one. If I hit enter, there is a student app displayed. So if you know that, okay, this is where I'm going to, documents API, just type document, DOC, hit tab, type A, hit tab, and then hit enter. So it will just take you exactly where you're going to. Now that we're here, we need to now launch the app. This is the code to launch the app. Simply type, sorry, wrong place. Simply type Java. Please pay attention here. Java space -jar. The hyphen and the jar are together. Okay, the hyphen and the jar are together. So it's Java space -jar. Then student. I'm not going to type the full name because it's too long. I just type student, hit the tab key, and there you go. Okay, student app. That's all you need to do. Hit enter, and then you'll see the serve. This is a Spring Boot application. Okay, you can see there it says Spring Boot application. What it's doing now, it is initiating an instance of a local server, an Apache Tomcat server on your machine. Okay, so now this didn't work because do we have Java installed?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Java. Oh yeah, we do have Java installed. Okay, so let's see. Let's Java jar student. Now, when it happens like that, please don't be frightened. Let's read the error message to see what went wrong. Okay, it's always good to read the error message. Okay, to try and figure out, okay, what happened. Okay, let's see. We'll try and go to the beginning of the error message where it begins to go wrong. So we can see here it's unable to start embedded container with name Tomcat. That's the okay. Hmm. Application started. When we installed this stuff, it worked for you, didn't it? We checked it, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. So we have Java. So 8. Okay. Now maybe the port 8080 that we want to use. Now on your system, there are 65,000 ports. Okay. Let me show you what I mean. Each application we use, there's each of them communicates with the outside world through different ports. So if you think of your computer as a house, okay, there are multiple ways by which you can communicate with the outside world. You can open the bathroom window, you can open the main door, you can open the kitchen door, you can open the master bedroom's window, you can open the um, what's it called, the loft window. So your machine has 65,000 plus ports. Okay, so let's just see port numbers, um, port numbers. In computer networking, a port is a communication endpoint. At the software level within an operating system, a port is a logical construct that identifies a specific process or type of network service. So let's go to Wikipedia again. So on your machine, there are 65,000 plus ports. The most popular ones, which are the well-known ports, okay? Let me show you the ones that the port 8080, okay, this one here is used for hypertext transfer protocol. Sometimes when you run the student app and it fails, it's telling you that another application is using the port 80. When you try to run the student app, because it needs to communicate with the outside world, it's trying to use the port 80. It'll be like, no, sorry, there's another application using the port 80. Okay. So you can see if it's for emails, you have port simple mail transfer protocol. Any email you're sending goes out from your machine through port 25. Or if you're receiving an email, it comes in through port 25. 22, secure shell. When you're doing file transfers and everything, it goes out through port 22 or comes in through port 22. When you're doing file transfer protocol, 21. So these are all the famous ports on your machine. So if one is already using port 80 and you try to launch the student app, because now we're on Zoom, possibly Zoom would have taken port 80. Who knows? Zoom would have occupied port 80 because your machine is receiving or connecting to my machine. So that port is already in use. So what do we then do? Are we just going to give up now? No. We can switch the port numbers. Remember, you have 65,000 ports on your machine. If the main door is open, but I need to send the message out, I can go upstairs, open the bathroom window, take the message and just throw it out. Okay. So let's look at this one. So again, we'll do Java-jar student app. Then I will put this one in here. I will say server dot port equals, I'm going to choose a port number that I suspect that nobody will be using. Sorry, is that minus or equals? Nikki, can you tell us?
Is equals.
Is that equal sign? Okay, good.
No, yeah, equals, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to choose port 55555 because I doubt there'll be any port on any application on her machine using this number. Okay, if I use maybe 1000, there could be some obscure application that is using port 1000, but I'm going to use a port which I know that is it's far-fetched that any application would actually be using that port number. Unable to start. So it's not starting for some strange reason. Okay. So it's something which I'll need to investigate with you outside of class. It's
Okay.
weird. It's weird. It's not starting. Okay, so let me go to mine. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, so give up remote control. So that's literally how we should actually, you just run the Java hyphen jar, then the student app. It should work because we tested it, but for some reason it's not working now. So I am going to go start mine. This is completely different. Okay, it's um, it's completely different to yours, please. So uh, this one now, I'm gonna do mine. Docker run SP um, 55 18. Hmm. So this is me. I've launched it on mine. Okay, so it's different because I have Docker installed. Okay, I have Docker installed. It's a much, but to if I was to install Docker on your machine, it takes quite a lot of memory to run it on your machine. So for those of you who've got just 4 gig, it won't work. As soon as you run it, it's just crash your machine. Okay, so that's the reason why I decided to use it the old way. Um, so now it's working. Oh, let's go prove it. So this is the endpoint for the student app. Okay, once you're able to launch the application, this is the endpoint. Okay, so this is localhost. This is what it will look like. Okay, let me copy this and I'll display it for you here. So it will be HTTP. You can see that already it is unsecured. Okay, HTTP localhost. So yours would actually be something like this. And I did save so yours will be 8080. This is what your endpoint will look like. But because on my own machine, the port 8080 is being used by another application. I've tried to remove the application. It's been a pain. I decided to just, default to 55555. Okay, 55,555. I know it's rare that there'll be an application using this port number. So if I go here now and I show you, if I hit enter, this is what the student app looks like. What you're seeing here is what you call a JSON file. Okay, this is a JSON. This is JSON format. It simply stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Okay, that's what it stands for. JavaScript Object Notation. It's a way of storing data which is human readable. It is easy for humans to read and write. It's also easy for machines to power and generate. JavaScript Object Notation deals with what we call key value pairs. In JavaScript or JSON, when you're storing data, you have to provide what is called a key. So this ID is a key, and that's the value. So you call them key value pairs. Okay. Key value pairs. Each key must have a value. Each value must have a key. So that's the key, first name, value. Key, last name, value, Rashad, and so on and so forth. Now, you may then come down to, okay, what about courses? Okay. Now, if courses, if it has multiple values, you can see this is the way it's stored. You have let me copy this. Sorry. Let me just copy one key. Okay. Can you see? It starts with the key is always enclosed in double quotes. That's how you identify that that's the key. Then the value will be provided. In JavaScript, for this is what we call an object. You can see here, this is ID1. It ends here. That's ID1. These are all the key value pairs enclosed in ID1. First name, last name, email, program, courses. Okay. So they always come like this. Okay. The last key value pair does not have a comma at the end. The last key value pair would always be like this. But if there are more key value pairs to be entered, you will see comma, then you see another one again, then you see another one, you see another one. If it's the last one, then that will no longer be there. Okay, let's go back here. So we can see it here, key value pairs. Now, this course's key has multiple values. Yes, you enclose them in square brackets, okay? And then inside, you provide the multiple values. You can see there's a comma at the end of the first one because there's another value to be added, but you can see there's no comma at the end. Okay, so what is this then? This is just the student app. This is the student app. We're looking at the student app here. There's no UI, there's no button to click. Now, this student app, when it's been developed here. What will happen is that we are looking at what is basically a database. You are going to be interacting with the database. This is not SQL, this is just JSON. It's a form of database. So you can see the names of the students all stored in there, their courses, their emails, data about the student. With API, we can start testing. We don't need for them to build a fancy UI where I can say, okay, student one, then I'll hit enter, then to display first name, last name, email, program, then I can go in there and edit stuff. No, we don't need that. Just give me Postman, I'll start talking to the server and start testing. If it's failing on the server, it doesn't matter how fancy the UI that's going to be developed, it's still going to fail. Rubbish in, rubbish out. So the advantage you have here is that you can verify that this thing is working as expected. When they build the UI, all we're going to be doing on the UI is to say, okay, how does it look on the UI? That's all we're going to be doing. If it's not working well on the server, it won't work well on the UI, guaranteed. Well, if we can prove that it's working here, the only test we're going to be doing on the UI is to check that, okay, is first name, is it displayed nicely? It's not going to, obviously, you won't display it like this, okay? This is on a database. This is why it's been displayed. It's written this way. But obviously on the UI, it where when this thing is coming back as first name, it will handle it and say first space name. Okay, it will handle it. But in the back end, we really don't care. In the back end, we don't care. It's just like the human body. If you look at the human body, all the muscles, if you strip away the skin, it's not a pleasant look. All the raw muscles and the veins and everything, it's a bit, you know, it's not pleasant on the eyes. That's why we have a skin. So if you think of your skin as a UI, that is the bit that everybody interacts with. But beneath your skin is the API. The API is the muscles, the tendons, the skeleton, and everything. That's the API. That's what makes. If you take out all this stuff, your skin will just be a flabby mess on the floor. Okay? So if you think about it that way, your skin is a UI because that's the bit everybody interacts. That's the bit they shake. If you take off your skin and you try to shake people, they'll run away from you. I mean, if you haven't passed out from the pain, they'll run away from you like, ew, that doesn't look nice. See, but it's just my hand. I've taken off the skin. It's still me. They're like, okay, put the skin back because it's the skin that we know. Okay, so but you as a tester, you can start testing the tendons, the muscles, the skeleton. You don't need the skin. The skin can come last. Okay, so that's what we are going to be looking at right now. So here it is. Okay, I'm just simply going to copy the student list because that is my endpoint. Then I'm going to go to Postman. Here I am in Postman, and I'm going to run my first command. Do a V, and I'll hit send. And you can see there it is. It displays a list of 100 students for me. You can see status code 200. This is the time it took to return the list of all the students, 80 milliseconds. It tells me the size. Okay. If there was something wrong, it will also display a message. Look at the header. Remember, we're talking about the headers. Content type is telling me that this is an application of JSON type. Okay. Char set, UTF-8, don't worry about that one. Transfer encoding is chunked. The date when I performed this request, there it is. It's all displayed there for me. Okay. So here we can look at the body. This is the body. It shows you what it looks like in. This is how it is stored in the database. If you can actually view it as pretty or raw. Now, this is not pleasing to the eyes. I mean, where does one end? Where does another one begin? It's not pleasing to the eyes at all. Okay. If you go to preview, it's still not nice. So just leave it as pretty. You can see when we go to pretty, it gives you further options. How do you want to display? I mean, the computer doesn't care. The computer can view it as long as you give it in the right format. The computer can view it. It doesn't matter. If so, we're using JSON. If we go to XML, this is what it looks like in XML. Again, all the information is complete, but it's not easy on the eyes. Okay, it's not easy on the eyes. HTML, again, yeah, it's there, but again, it is not easy to read. Text, it's not easy to read. Auto, which is JSON. This is much better because we know where one resource, everything we're looking, when you look at one object, okay, ID one, this is student one, starts and, come on, starts and ends somewhere there. Okay, yeah, it starts and ends there. Let me just pull this up a bit. That's one object. So everything that is contained in one object, everything, the full data set, you refer to it as an object. All this here, everything you're seeing here is what you refer to as your payload. So these are other questions that you will ask the developers. Okay, can I get a sample payload? You have to give it a sample payload. Now, this is what it looks like. So, okay, it's not just enough to give you environments and collections. Give me a sample payload so that if I fire it up and I see this stuff, I know that, okay, I have a sample payload. It looks like it. Okay, that's good. We're good to start testing. Okay. So you can see here, I fired up this thing. Let's go to history again. So look at the one I did for status codes. Now look at this one here. You can see it there. It's another GET request. It is simply just getting data back from the server. That's all it's doing. It's simply communicating to the server based on this endpoint we have provided, and it is returning the required data for us. Okay, so we're more or less good to go. We're looking at it, we're getting the data, we've seen our collection here. So what is the purpose of this collection? Let's go to this history. Okay, I don't want to have to keep coming tomorrow and typing this thing here every single time. I can save this data. So collection student app, if I go to history here, click this three dots, okay, save request. I'll click save request. The request name, that's it there, that's fine. Where do I want to put it into? Look at all my collections. It's asking me, you have multiple collections, choose one, student app. If I want, I can put some text in here just to say that this end point is used to get back data for all the students registered. Okay, something similar. It's just to help. Remember, you're trying to help somebody who's coming after you. Okay, save to student app. So if I go to my collections now, you can see there's one request saved. If I close this, don't save. Tomorrow I come in, I'll just simply click student app. Oh, this might get request. I'll just fire it off, hit send, boom. As long as my server is running, I should be able to get that data back. Okay, I should be able to get the data back. Okay, so that's the get request. Okay, this is the first thing that you'll be familiar with. And I can almost hazard a guess and say about 85% of requests you'll be making will be get, if not 95. If not 95, to be honest. It's just get requests. You just be doing get requests. So it looks a bit daunting. Let me pull this one down back, but it's not. Okay. So the body, again, non-form data, we're not putting a body in here. When you're doing get, you're simply just saying get me information. Okay, that's just it, to be honest. So on the weekend, what we're going to do is we're going to look at, okay, what is this environment? Because I asked you saying, where's my collection? Where's my environment? We will see This collection is not yet in a pleasant state. We will see how we are going to refine the um, the requests. You want to put it in such a way. Let me just give you a heads up. Let's go here. Can you see now what I've done is I've created multiple folders. Get, post, put. So that when I want to run a post, I don't have to go and start searching which one is it. No. In the get, there may be multiple gets in a post. There can be multiple post types. And if you look at the difference, look at this one. This is just the endpoint. But here, I've actually given it a name. So that when you come to run a test, imagine there were 5 different gets in there. You have to now hazard the guess, like which one is this one? Which one should I, if I want to get to the details for a specific student, which endpoint should I use? Okay, no, you want to make it. Now look at how I named this one. Get details for all the students. Remember, I put this in the name of um, the endpoint, but you can actually change it so that when you come into the organization and you are giving your endpoints like this, I mean, it's beautiful. You know what they are there for. You're not looking at 50 different endpoints and trying to scratch your head and saying, I want to get the details for just one student. Is it this one or is it that one? No, you're wasting time. Everything should be ordered. So again, when you're talking in interviews, this okay, so how did you help? They said, look, this is what I do. Because I've been on the receiving end. You join an organization, they give you collections and endpoints, and everything is all jumbled up, and you are left there to try to figure it out. Why would you have to? Why should you have to go through that ordeal? Why should you have to go through that ordeal? So this is something that you can actually do as well, because I do it when I get to an organization. I configure stuff like this because I want whoever is coming behind me, they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They simply just come on board. It's there in plain English. Read it, click it, and you're good to go. It's as simple as that. So that's just it. Like I said, I was just giving you a heads up. Okay. So that's our student app. It's still looking raw and rugged. Although we've saved it, we know that we can reuse it. So it's there. At least that's some kind of progress. Okay. But the environment will then look on the weekend. We'll look at, okay, this environment thing. How do we then configure it? I don't want us to rush. I simply just want us to um, understand the history, the collections, how the basic one, the get, how to launch our application. Okay. Now, this mine is different. So please don't go run this command. It won't work on your machine. So before we go, can I quickly look for somebody else again? Who did I configured a few people's laptop today. I just want to show you that that Java student app actually works. Uh, who is willing to share their screen quickly in the next? Let's do this in the next 3 minutes.
I can share mine.
Yeah, go for it. Share your screen, please, so that when you're running the application, you know how to do it. So let me request remote control. Thank you. So I'm going to launch PowerShell. Okay. So again, it's the same. I made sure I put everything in the same place for everyone. So I'm going to do this. Let's do ls first. So ls, I can see that there's documents there. So I want to navigate to the documents folder. So I'll do cd documents, and I'm going to use auto completion. I'll hit the tab key because I don't want to make a spelling mistake. So there's documents. I'll hit enter. Then I'll do ls. If you're not sure, just do ls and see what's in there. I can see that there's API. Hers is different. You can see there's extra folders, but you should have your API in your documents folder. So I'll do cd API, hit enter, do the ls again, and then I'll see that, yes, that's the student app. So I'm going to run this command again. I'll say java -jar student auto completion. Let's see if this will work. So it's Spring. So this is a Spring Boot application again. Once the okay, what did you test? Spring Boot. You've tested Spring Boot application. You know how to test it. Okay. That's so. These are the things when they're doing a search through CVs for applications. They'll just put in. They know what the client wants. The client wants, I mean, you can see there's another stuff called Apache Tomcat. This is this application, this Spring Boot application has launched an Apache Tomcat server. That is where this Spring Boot application is hosted. Okay, so Apache Tomcat server will go on your CV. So when they are doing a search, they've got this job, they're looking for people to hire. They'll just do a search. Okay, who has Apache Tomcat server, Spring Boot, Jira, Confluence, all this kind of stuff. Your CV, based on everything you put in there, should be able to pop up at the top of the list. Okay, should pop up at the top of the list. That's the reason why I'm putting all this stuff in there. So you at least you will get a phone call. You've done the hard bit. The rest is just for you to sell yourself. Okay. So there we go. It started on app 8080. So I'm going to open up any browser. I mean, just choose your browser. Okay, doesn't matter as long as you started it up. So here it is. I'll just say local host. Okay. Not no. I saved it, didn't I? Which browser did we save it to? Um, did I,
It was fun.
was it? Do we have Chrome on this machine?
Yes, there is Chrome here.
Okay. Let's launch it then. Because I already bookmarked it, didn't I? Where's Google Chrome? Are you sure? There's no bookmark coming up.
If it's not coming up, we can try it on Edge.
Yeah,
I remember you mentioned that we shouldn't use Internet Explorer in the afternoon when we're doing it.
no,
Yeah,
no, no.
this one.
Okay. Where's the? We bookmarked it, but I can't see the bookmark here. Where's the bookmark? It's gone. Oh, this is your Mac, isn't it? Oh, is it?
I don't have a Mac laptop.
Okay, I bookmarked this thing, but we can't seem to find it. It's not displaying here.
Try this browser.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Manual testing. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and okay, we didn't bookmark it. We didn't bookmark it. So let's just do it. So local host. Oh, sorry. So let's go. Local host 8080 slash that student slash list. Okay, hit enter, and there you go. So it's there. I can copy this and just go to Postman. Once Postman launches. So let's bookmark this one for you. Yep. So we just call this one API student app. Okay. Click done. So it's bookmarked for you. So anytime you launch the application, it's just open up a new tab. It's there. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to Postman. So Postman, there it is, student app. Click send, fire off, and it should work like a charm. It's sent. You can see it is sending the request, and there you go. It's all displayed. So for you guys, you don't need to change it to a different server port. I know that on my machine, 8080 is being used by some other application, and I don't want to I've tried shutting it down. I couldn't figure it out. So for every one of you, that's it. So the only thing you would need to, I know some of you have got some kind of IT background. Okay. So please, when you guys are collaborating, just talk them through. Okay. Especially when it comes to navigating. It seems all, terminal. But trust me, once you get used to the terminal, you will almost forget using the mouse and the mouse because it's faster. There's a lot you can do on the terminal compared to clicking and clicking and clicking. You're getting into the development environment. You should be moving away from double clicking and double clicking. Okay. Once you open up your terminal, people look at your screen, they'll be like, wow, you're using terminal. Oh, okay. That they just give you that respect. Like you are a guru. Oh, it's just simple navigation. Okay. So please, those of you who have some kind of IT experience, please just when you're collaborating, walk each other through. And for those of you who don't have any experience. It's nothing to be scared about. All it just needs is practice. Okay, all you need is just practice. Confidence, calm down. No need to panic or anything. So let me give up remote control so we can see that it works. Nika, we will address your stuff tomorrow. Okay, we'll address your stuff tomorrow. I'm not sure why it's not
It's
working.
okay.
Okay, so let me just show you. This is my computer. Google is your friend. Okay, just say navigation in PowerShell. Okay, navigate in PowerShell. Let's see. Exploring file system navigation manipulation. Let's see. I don't know. I've never seen this before. Um, subscribe to. So this PowerShell tutorial. No, no, I don't need this one. Um, what I will do is I will provide you a very simple and basic list. So here I'm going to go to CalProj. So this is what I would like you guys to do. Everything that you are learning, let's go to Confluence. This is what I was asking you to create your own space. So you can see there's my space, the calculator project. I'm going to just create a page. Okay, so pages here. What is it now? Create page title. Let's call it API. Okay, and in here I'll just say ls. Okay, this is used to display items in a folder. CD, this is used to navigate from one uh, destination to another. Okay, and just it's you it's something as a reference point for you. Okay, so just say usage is usage is CD like documents. Okay, CD documents. That's example. Okay, so just pull this one down. Let's say example of usage. Okay, CD documents. And just put some. This will take me to the documents folder. Okay, something as simple as that. So if I click publish, so I've got my pages API. Now tomorrow, I know that if I want to navigate from one destination to another in PowerShell or in the terminal in Linux, I know I use the CD command. Okay, what is it? Let me just go. I'll just say CD, hit enter. Okay, there it is. CD. Ah, good. Okay, so I'll just, it's in the calculator project. So API, click API. There it is. This is used to navigate from one destination to another. That's the benefit of having this stuff for you. Okay, that's the benefit of having this stuff for you. It's up to you how you want to use it, how you want to create your stuff in there. That's the benefit of Confluence. And when you get into the organization, like I said, all this stuff in here, they just tell you, oh, it's on the API page. What will somebody do? What they do is they'll simply just come here, they will copy link address, and they will just post it to you. They just go here and they just say, oh, you asked about this information. There it is. That's it. They'll send that to you. Go read up on it. Nobody has got time to come sit at your desk and say, that's how you do it. They just send it out. So what do you want to do? That's the link. Off you go. Boom, done. It's as simple as that. So that's why I want us to get into the habit of doing this thing. This is the place to make the mistakes. This is the place to be like, oh, I don't really know what to do. If you panic and you don't know what to do, your job is to ask for help here. Get into the habit of asking for help as well. We need to learn all that. It's new to all of us. Let's learn it here so that when you get out there, you would actually be the one helping people. You'll be the one helping people. Like, and it doesn't go unnoticed from your managers that you've just joined the organization and here, if things don't exist, I mean, I think Maddie knows a lady called Anita in Amsterdam or Holland. Anita was the one that did all this when she got to her workplace. Okay, it didn't exist. She did everything herself. And the kudos she got. She be, I mean, Anita's a test manager. Anita is my senior in testing now. To be honest, Anita sets up teams. Okay, she employs developers as well now because she can code to an excellent level. Okay, Anita and Rachel in Manchester, whom I said she's a grandma, they code better than myself today. And they set up. Anita sets up teams. She hires teams. Okay, just by putting in the effort to do all this. Because when they saw this, you're getting to managerial level. To be honest, because you're seeing, you're identifying problems, and you're giving the solution straight away. You're not waiting for somebody to come and tell you this. You just say, look, it is based on the experience I've had. Okay. I've been in places where there was nothing in place. They'll tell me, go talk to this person. I'll get half information from here. They'll tell me this person, okay, half information there. Why is it not all compiled in one place? So that when I need information, I just go there. So this is what you do. Once you're beginning to doing all this stuff, you're managing processes for people. You're, before you know it, they'll tell people to be reporting to you. You're like the senior team test lead. And that's where you want to get to. You just be managing people. You're not doing all the hard work and everything and getting paid more money for it. Okay, so that's it for today. Next thing we're going to look at on Thursday is we're going to look at the whole of the other requests, the puts, the patch, the options, the head, the post. We're going to be looking at, and the delete as well. We're going to be looking at how they work, for us. Okay, cool. So any questions, guys? Any questions?
So when is the next class?
It's Saturday.
Okay. Because I heard you say Thursday, but now I get it. Thank you.
Oh, no, it's Saturday. It's Saturday. No. It's
So
Saturday.
today Thursday already. Okay. When are we
Saturday.
reviewing our assignment?
I'm going to extend the date for you guys. Okay,
Okay.
I'll explain the dates for you guys because we have a big assignment coming for this one here. Okay, can I stop recording so we don't record all this, extra,
Yes.
unless it's relevant. I don't.